Main title, Running a Peer Support Group. George and Shu preparing for a peer support group. Shu is making notes.
What we need to do is we need to organise a couple of things.
Yes.
The topic this week is about housing.
Yes.
And some of the housing problems we're having.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of Chinese people going to be here.
Yes.
We may need an interpreter. And what we'll do is we'll invite Susie. Susie has muscular dystrophy and she's having issues with her housing.
Yeah.
And she's taking it to the appeals tribunal. So she'll be one of our guest speakers.
Yep.
And we've got another person and they have an intellectual disability. I think you may know Joe.
Yeah.
He's going to be there to talk as well. So if we give them each about 10 or 15 minutes to talk a bit through what's happening.
Yeah.
And then we do a bit of like a Q&A after, or we can ask questions. Yeah.
Title, Ground Rules and Boundaries. Kath speaking beside Roz.
I think there's a bit of learning as you go with peer support. I think it varies depending on the group that you're with. But then there's this magic organic thing that it's really hard to put words on, where the group almost does its own thing and we decide with each other how support will actually look in that group. Some of it is around how you run a group. So it is good to set some boundaries, to have some ground rules, and they'll vary a little bit depending on who's in the group. And so we might hear something in the peer group that really gets us worked up and is really uncomfortable for us, but we have to kind of engage with that without judging the person and kind of trying to say where they are at on that journey is where they're at.
Title, Creating Space for Connections to Happen Naturally. Kath.
It is around that magic of story. And part of knowing that story is maybe facilitating some connections. So if I know, Roz, that you're really into people being included in their local school, people with disability being included in education, and someone raises a question around not knowing how to think about that for their family, or being in a school where it's not working or they're not happy, then I would, as a member of that peer group, say, why don't you have a chat with Roz, because that's something that she's really passionate about. It's just, again, knowing when you need to facilitate it in a formal, structured way, but also just leaving space that actually they're going to do it for themselves. The people in the group are going to find their own ways of connecting in ways that they're comfortable.
Title, Difficult Conversations. Roz speaking beside Kath.
Sometimes when the conversations start to go a bit difficult or one-directed, or it's finding that way to turn the corner and bring it back to somewhere where you're going to get an outcome, or somewhere where it'd be beneficial.
Kath.
It's tricky to know how to manage it sometimes. It can be a reminder to go back to the ground rules or the group rules, hopefully that the peer group has worked on together and decided upon together.
Title, The Importance of Humour. Kath.
It's the best place to go for advice, for support, for understanding, for humour. Like we're kind of being quite serious about peer support, but it's I laugh more than I laugh at any other time in my life at peer support. Really funny things happen when people that don't know each other and who might have quite different needs and quite different takes on the world and their life, when we come together, there's a lot of humour.
Roz.
You kind of take the seriousness out of it, because outside that network it is very serious. It's about the doom and the gloom. And as a parent, that's what you're used to hearing. And I feel that the peer support network is the future, and the can-dos, will-dos and going-to-dos.
Title, From Getting to Giving. Kath.
So it's usually a sense of coming from a need, whether that's for belonging or identity or information, or to fill in their time on a Wednesday morning. And then hopefully they go on a bit of a journey, having had a sense that, well, I've had some information, I've had my needs met, if you like, and another person was here last time and I could probably give them a hand or give them some information, or just be there to see how they go on the next steps that they're going to take. So hopefully it changes from coming with a need to coming because you want to contribute.
Title, Building and Changing Community. Kath.
Peer support's this amazing space where you come and get boosted by being with people who understand you and who share a lot of your lived experience. But from that space, we are then trying to connect with our broader community.
Yeah.
So it's like coming to the people who get me and getting some ideas and support and some affirmation and some validation maybe, and then going into the community because that's where I want to live my life.
Team Up is a project of Community Disability Alliance Hunter, New South Wales Council for Intellectual Disability, and Diversity and Disability Alliance.